them the same thing. I was like, yo, they're refusing to give me the food because the dude is scamming you guys, trying to order and claim that he's not getting the food, and he's taking the drinks and giving them out to his homeless friends or whatever he's doing. Do you know
Oh,
they
I
shut
know.
down my account the same way they shut down your account too?
Uh-huh.
And but like an idiot, I actually had money in the savings because of a car accident. So I had a a little bit of a settlement I was nest egging on at the time. So I wasn't really tripping about it. But I waited 2 weeks for their investigation, and then I just said fuck it, and I started working for Uber. But
Yeah.
they did me the exact same way they did you. They just were like, "Oh, we're investigating," and then it was just like, well, fuck you.
It's ridiculous. It's not okay. It's not right at all.
I mean, we take all the abuse as the drivers. I mean, all the wear and tear, all the risk, all everything. And then
Yeah.
when I talk to passengers, like especially out here in Scottsdale, because you get these really money pinching, people, and they always want to be really nosy. And they're like, just out of curiosity, how much did you get for your ride? And we're not
Mm-hmm.
supposed to tell them, but if they're going to ask me a derogatory question, what I mean,
Yeah.
a straight up, I mean, I'm a grown adult. I'm like, well, I think it was like $5, whatever, da da da. Oh, that's crazy because it was $15 or $13 for me, da da da. They're getting more than 50% of your income and blah 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 or whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm not even thinking about it. I just see what the ride is worth, and I just do my job. But
Uh-huh.
I'm understanding now that there's like a whole. I'm like, look, the more I peel back the layers, the more I'm finding out how much people are complaining and people are doing their homework to find out that Uber is a fucking scam.
Yeah. It really is. And there should be, I heard you say something about protest or something, or what was that?
Yeah, so they apparently there's been a number of protests for Ubers in different countries and different cities, but they're not organized. It's kind of like an Elon Musk, Amazon thing where they don't want the drivers to band together, as far as like any kind of union. So they have us as individual contractors. But what they do is they try to make us feel better by putting us on these bot teams, you know what I mean, where if you want to have more of an adverse or submerged feeling into the Uber experience as a driver, you become part of this driving community where
Hmm.
basically you just make friends as drivers that are in your area and you guys just plan, you know what I mean, to go drive and uplift each other or whatever. But apparently you can get like a team lead or be part of a team,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, you saw that shit, and I didn't get into it because I'm a very private person. I don't
Yeah.
I'm that person. That's the reason I did Uber, so I didn't have to make friends because I'm that guy at the office that will go to work, and if I have no reason to talk to you, I won't go out of my way to say hi. I go to work to make a paycheck. I don't go to work and get paid to fucking be your friend. I get paid to do a
Exactly.
job. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So the reason I want to do Uber is so I don't have to be part of a community. I can just be solo and do my shit and go home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you make your own hours. You make good money if you're doing like, a good job, the right thing. And it's perfect. You don't have to speak to anyone. You can get something to eat on your own
Mhm.
time. Like, you don't have to check in with anyone. So
Take your
I wish
breaks.
I
Yeah.
could go back, but uh,
Well, Dog Mom says, "How are you?"
I am okay. I'm going through some health issues. I gotta have surgery. I don't know when yet, but it'll all work out. Like I don't know if you noticed, I got really, really skinny. Like I'm skinny anyways, but Phoenix,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
boy.
Seems like we all going through it as content creators. You're not the only one. Coffee's going through her whole health issues too, and there's some other content creators that are not. It may not be going through
What
health
did you give me
issues
with that water
physically,
hose? I'm sorry. Don't put that water hose over here. Okay.
but there's other content creators that I deal with that are dealing with more personal shit where other people are acting out around them because they're becoming more successful as content creators. So like their spouses are able to handle, the fandom, you know what I mean, and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
It's
responsibility of content creation is deep.
right. And we have, problems just like everybody else. Like we have so much going on. My problem is when I have so much going on, I'm like, okay, I need to take a break from all of this. Like, I know you, even if you have stuff going on, like, you're able to, keep going. And I'm like, oh, I need to get like that, like, so kudos to
Yeah,
you.
I just wanted to come on here and rant about what was going on, and the reason I've been MIA for 2 weeks is because, like I said, I am currently moving, in transition of
Well, yeah,
moving or
that's
whatever.
different. That
But
you're moving, you're doing that, and but when you have other, you come on here, you make a difference, so you keep
yeah,
on. But this is with you moving and everything, it's really hectic, probably. So
oh yeah, especially with one arm. I think I re-fractured the shoulder again. As far
God,
as yeah, I woke up the other day and I was just like, it. Ugh. Yeah, I can't win.
um,
I can't seem to win for losing. Or I swear to God. I mean, it's if it ain't one. And another thing too is that because Uber cut me off, and shout out to Kimmy, and our she's not on the live right now, but shout out to Kim. She's one of my viewers that are actually here in the Valley, and she's been a viewer. She's been a supporter of the channel from like day one. I mean, I can't. I think she was one of the first people that actually reached out to me as far as like when the channel started blowing up. But long story
mhm,
short, she's been with me since basically the beginning. And when Uber shut down my crap because I'm in transitioning or whatever, I had a bill that needed to be paid and I was $75 short. I was like $70 short. But so I
mhm.
went on Facebook and I was like, whoever's on the team, if you got $75 that you could spare, cash
See,
app
I
it to
didn't
me,
even
blah
see
blah.
you right there. That's just
Yeah,
crazy.
but this is what's crazy. So Kimmy hit me up like within fucking seconds on Facebook
Oh,
or Messenger and was like, "Yo, Norm." She was like, "Did anybody help you out?" Yeah, it was probably within 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes of the post. She hits me up
hmm.
on Messenger and she was like, "Yo, has anybody helped you with that 75?" And I was like, "Nah." I was like, she was like, "Take that fucking post down, I got you." And I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, "Take
Oh,
that post down, I got you." And within 10 minutes, $75 was Zelled to my account. I was like, "Oh my God." Talk about love in the community. I was like, that was right on time because because the bill that needed to be paid was a big deal. Not to go into the details of it, but
well, yeah.
it would have caused a bunch of fucking disruption
It would have
that would
been
have
a bunch of
set me
other
back.
things,
Yeah,
and
it would have set me back. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because I'm in transition of moving, so I got different fires burning or whatever. So long story short,
I know. I
she
felt
came.
bad when I spoke to you because I was like, "Oh my God, if I had it,
No,
But
no,
I
no, no,
didn't
no.
see
You're
that
good. You're
post.
good.
I didn't see that post. Even if I did, I would have been like, "Oh, $5. I might
Well,
have only."
it wasn't even up. Like I said, 2 minutes before she responded
That
and
is
was like, "I got
awesome.
you."
Oh,
Erase that, take that post down now. Da 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 da. Man, and me and you were talking about it afterwards as far as love. Most people get very hung up about family not being there or whatever, and
hmm,
me and you have issues with our family, being either hyper jealous or too judgmental on how we decide to live our lives or
yeah,
how we decide to make our content or whatever. And we
yeah,
were talking about that, how it where there's a will, there's a way. You know what I mean? You
hmm,
don't necessarily need mom and dad, brother and sister, or the approval of your cousins or whatever. You get friends are just as valuable, if not more valuable, than your family because they're not there to judge you based on the emotional fucking back and forth of growing up and them not being able
Hey,
to see you through your
coffee.
milestones.
Coffee's in the chat under Blunt Reality. Sorry, I had to say hey.
Hey, Coffee, let me know if you want to get on.
I
So
had sent her a message asking, but I think she was doing something. So,
well, she might be at work too. I know.
oh no,
We don't never announce. We just like, fuck it. You ready to go
she
live?
worked.
Let's just go live. We need to start committing to a time once we get stable and just be like,
And
look,
see, if you were with us before, I was that person up at when the kids got off to school and it was 7 o'clock. I was calling Arctic. I was calling Coffee. I was like, let's go. And they're like, what are we even going over? I was like, here, this is the information. Let's go. But I'm gonna
well,
be
like I
back
said,
on top of that.
well, you know how I am. Like I said, I was gonna start off with Uber and kind of segue into what else I have. But we're like 45 minutes into it, and I'm just, you know me, I'm like, I get emotionally amped. Gotta have over.
Your little stress relief coffee.
Man, that's my Me Too. I didn't
I
even, did I
mean,
tell you about my Raggedy Ann Me Too doll? So I had trolls that were hyper focused on me because of Erica Patterson's videos, and they started going through my background. They started calling, like, remember the attorney that I did a video for? I did a commercial for or whatever. They called that attorney trying to claim that I was his paralegal or whatever, and that attorney was like, "He's not my paralegal. He's just a friend of mine who did a commercial for me." So these trolls try to call my attorney friend and threaten his bar license based off of nothing, off of my videos that they didn't like. Oh, it looks like your internet is stuck again. But anyway, so yeah, so once you get back on, but yeah, the trolls were hyper focused. Oh, she just popped off. She's gonna jump back on. But yeah, but the trolls were hyper focused and just trying so hard. So I kicked back and started doing troll of the week, when, as I went through. So I had like 3 or 4 of the best trolls, and there was like, probably, I wouldn't say there was tens of tens, there was hundreds, but there was a couple of 10, 20 of them or whatever, 10, 30 trolls or whatever I was dealing with. So I had to cherry pick the best ones, and I was trying to diversify because, with Me Too, they all cry about the same shit. So I was trying to diversify the trolls and make sure that I didn't have the same rhetoric going on. So if you look back at my videos for Troll of the Week, or where I put them in the videos, they're all different trolls, and they all had the different issues. And then there were some trolls of the week that you guys, I put in there for Easter eggs. Like, I had a black dude that threatened me on one of the videos. Like, I mean, he threatened me like he was going to come to Phoenix and put them hands on me. And I was like, please, please do. I'll make you famous. So he talked all this shit online, and I left it on one of the videos. I can't remember which one it was. It was a little bit ago. But on one of the Daryl Brooks videos, where I was, how I was clowning Daryl Brooks or whatever, I put him in there, as far as like when you look at like the B-roll or whatever, and I was talking shit about Daryl and his homeboys or whatever. This picture is in there because I background that troll that was threatening me and found his social media account. So I hyperimposed his cutout of his face and put it in there. You know what I mean? So the troll is in there. So, motherfucker, please come to Phoenix. That tough keyboard talking will definitely help my ratings and help my day. And if you show up here and I get you on film and I'm able to you're able to threaten me on camera, and I accidentally happen to defend myself in any capacity, you know how famous my channel will be as a crime channel dealing with a mentally ill person trying to touch me as a content creator? I wish a motherfucker would. I wish you would. Not saying that I'm the most popular guy in the world, but I'm not alone. I do have friends. I have low friends in high places, and I have high friends in low places. Fuck around and find out. I network, my guy. I network. So trolls give us a reason to laugh. Amen. Man, I'm you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go through the Uber um do's and don'ts, the agreement. I believe, because I own my car, as far as being public domain, I can actually record whatever happens in my car. It's my car. I'm not renting from Uber. It's my personal vehicle. So for my safety, I think moving forward, I'm going to record all of my passengers, and I'll just do my own highlight reel of my worst, funniest, and most traumatic incidences dealing with passengers on my own. So I've been doing this 3 years. I got stories for fucking days. When I said earlier about females being the most horrific and most outrageous passengers that I have, I've never had a male driver in the 3 years that I've been driving, ever, as far as rideshare, ever get out of pocket. It has always, always been a woman that goes hyper fucking Karen. And this just happened to be the first time I've ever had to deal with a Native American Karen, a drunk Native American Karen, over fucking rock music at that. I've never in my life thought I would ever have to deal with that. You need to stay still. Your internet sucks.
It does. We changed to what's it called? T-Mobile T-Mobile for like home internet, and it's the worst. The worst. Like I would, and it's cheap. That's why it's the worst. But hey, you know what?
Well,
Um,
with that being said, I'm surprised that my phone is on point. I'm looking at the quality of my content right now as far as the picture. I'm surprised mine because I got a notification. My phone company that I usually work with, as far as where I pay my bill, my mobile phone, they switched me over to a new provider. And I've had unlimited access, but I have this exact same bill with a different carrier. And I got a notification, and it's only what, the 8th day of the month, and they're telling me that I'm already running out of fucking like minutes or and my internet is going to be slower. So after I get done with the live, I actually have to go down to the phone store to my guy who because I have loyalty issues, and I've been dealing with the same, mom and pop phone company, forever. I even helped the guy out on his credit. You know what I mean? The owner of the store, or
mhm.
like, we know we have each other's personal number, and he,
Yeah.
had, me being in the financial industry and knowing about debt, I showed him how to beat debt on his credit report, by himself without, going through a company. And he successfully
Mhm.
did it. So he hooks me up when I go up there, but I'm a little disappointed in getting a message, about my phone usage because I never had that before with my old provider. So,
That's weird. I
but yeah,
mean, what company is it?
I want to say I was with T-Mobile before, or Simply Mobile. It was like a subsidiary or a sister company of T-Mobile. It was called
Mhm.
Simply Mobile, and now they switched me to something else. I don't even know the name of it, but I gotta go. I gotta try to get switched back because I can't have slow internet. Already know. I'm always background check-in and all that, especially on my phone because I'm hardly ever home now. So,
Yeah. I mean,
but if
it's
but as far as what I was saying before you got on, I was getting into my experiences in the last 3 years, how I've had zero incidences with males of any type, gay males, whatever, trans, anything. It's always full-hearted fucking females that I always have, the issues with, or have whatever, um, a discord with in one way or another. This
mhm.
last one was Native American. I know I haven't told you some of these stories, but so about 4 or 5 months ago, I don't know if I said this before in another live, but I picked up this half breed, this chick that was white and black, and
Mhm.
she was at this house, and apparently her and her boyfriend were breaking up, and the boyfriend had just left for work, and she was grabbing all her shit to leave, and she had this little Paris Hilton dog, like a little Chihuahua or whatever, with her. It was like a Chihuahua mix. And so
Yeah.
she comes to the car, and she does like 4 trips in the car, 3 or 4 trips in the car. So the first trip, she brings some bags in, puts them in the car, no big deal, in the floorboard. Second trip, she brings the dog, puts the dog in the back seat behind me. And then
Mhm.
on the third trip, she goes inside, grabs, a box of something, comes to the door, and the door was open, but the screen door is this big cast iron screen door on the outside that's bolted into the bricks on the outside of the house, on the frame. So she
Mhm.
nudges the door is already open, so she nudges the box at the screen door to open it because she thought it was unlocked or open, as far as the handle, and she pushes it, and the whole fucking screen door, cast iron jaw bridge, strips out of the screws from the brick
Oh my
wall and falls like a
God.
jaw bridge, like boom. I mean, just 2 in the morning, I mean, it's late at night. Boom, dead night silence. And it just cracks like thunder. The dog jumps from the back seat to the front seat. No stranger danger in my lap, right? So
Uh-huh.
she looks she puts the box down, and she grabs the door with her little drunk ass, and she picks it up, and she starts trying to fit it into the frame of the door of the house, right? And she realizes that it won't go because she's not strong enough to lift it up, because it has to be
Yeah.
lifted up over the lip of the door, to get up in the frame. So she picks it all the way up, takes it to the carport on the side of the house into the shadows where the recycling bin and the trash can are, and slips it
Mhm.
sideways where the gate is in the shadows so nobody sees it. And then she goes back into the house, grabs her box, comes to the car, and puts the box in the back of, backseat of the car where the dog was. And she's like, oh, it did it. And I can't remember the dog's name, but she was, the dog would move. So I was like, the dog's cool. Just get whatever you want because they're charging you, why? Because you weren't prepared. They're charging you for extra time, because we haven't left yet. So they think I'm sitting here waiting for you. So, which I was. So she was like, oh, I have to go get one more thing. So she comes back and she has this big screen, fucking flat screen TV that she's carrying. Like it's bigger than the box she was just carrying it. And she's carrying it to the car. And she comes to the car and she's drunk and staggering. And she
What was she
bangs
doing?
my
Like
car door.
robbing the place? Robbing her
Her-
own? She said that was
She was
her house?
robbing her boy. She was robbing her ex-boyfriend. And she hit my car I have a dent on the side of my passenger side car to this day, where this woman dinged my car with this TV and try to open the back door because she was trying to use her leg as leverage to give her hand. You know what I mean? So she opens the door, apologizes, tries
So
to
she
fit
was
this
trying
big
to make
ass
you an
TV.
accomplice. You were her little
Basically.
accomplice.
So she tosses the remote. She has the remote. She tosses the remote in as she's sliding the TV in, right? So the remote, I didn't know this till after the fact. The remote slides underneath the passenger seat of the car, and I don't find it until like the next day. So long story short, she says, "This is what you get for hitting women." And I was just like, okay, my rebuttal is I'm not judging. Whatever a passenger says, do I have to put on my seatbelt? I'm not judging. You're grown. You know what I mean? I'm just here to give you a ride. That's it. I don't care what you do. You can vape in the back seat as long as you don't bust out a crack pipe. I don't care. You know what I mean? As long as you don't bust out cigarette, yeah, I don't care. You can vape in the back. You could play your music, whatever. I don't care. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But so she was like, well, I can't fit in the back. So I let her sit in the front seat. So we get in the front seat and we pull off. Well, she closes the door, the door, but she can't lock it because she doesn't have the key. So, so she gets in the car, we take off, and we didn't even get to the end of the block. And it was like a probably 20-minute ride from where we were on the west side to downtown. We didn't even get to the stop sign at the end of the street, and this bitch is hitting on me, like, what do you like to do? Da, 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 da. What do you do for fun? And blah, blah. You know what I mean? Just really getting into the meat
You're
and
like,
potatoes.
you just robbed your ex. Like, you're doing all this
Thank
crazy
you.
stuff. First of all, I would not.
So
I
I'm
would
like,
not.
yo, I said, I'm used and abused. I was like, you don't even want to entertain this. I was like, believe me, you don't want none of me. I'm used and abused. I'm not fun. I said, what do I like to do for fun? I do background checks on people. I'm that guy. You know what I mean? That's my idea of having a fun night. If I could find a woman that was into sleuthing like I am and could set up a computer right next to me, and we would be a tag team content
Well,
creating channel, and we would both be doing content next door to each other, and our whole day would be fulfilled doing background checks on different people next door to each other, like we work for a collection agency or some shit. So she goes and is hitting on me, and we get like 2 minutes to her stop, and she decides to call her new dude where she's going to, and this is like her bottom bitch. So her ex. So she calls him up and she's talking to him. She's just got done flirting with me, being all nice and everything. She gets him on the phone and is talking to him like he's a bitch, like he's a hoe. Where are you at? Are you going to be outside ready to grab all my stuff? Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? And just like dogging him out. So we pull up to like this little Hilton hotel downtown or whatever, where the guy's staying at or whatever. He comes out as a Hispanic dude. He comes out and she opens the door and she starts trying to take out the TV, and he starts flipping out. He's like, oh my God, you took his fucking TV too? Now I have to go take that back to him also. And the only thing I could think about at the time was like, also, what the fuck else did she take that I don't know that you have to get back to this ex-boyfriend?
so you were just involved in this whole big, like, crazy,
Fuckery.
insane.
Fuckery. There was another time where this other broad was in Scottsdale. It was like 10 o'clock at night. And she called. I'm on the west side. It's like a $30, I want to say $35 ride, right? I get all the way out there to this bar. She comes out after waiting a couple minutes. She's staggering to the car. She comes out there, gets in the car, and we start pulling off. And she starts telling me this epic story about how her boyfriend took her keys and left her with no wallet and no money at the bar because she started drinking without him. I guess they were on date night. So, and they lived together. So he took her keys and got in his car with her wallet and took off back to the house to teach her some kind of lesson. So she kept drinking, not realizing that he took her wallet also. So by the time she was ready to go, it all came this whole shit show, and she had to call her 20-year-old daughter to clear the tab over the phone and to call the Uber for her. So that way she can go pick up her keys and come back and get her car. So I'm like, well, I'm showing. I said, you said you doing a round trip. I only show you as a one way. And she was like, well, pull over so we can get this situated. So I had to pull over and I had to use her phone because she couldn't figure it out. And I had to show her how to add a destination onto her already, her already trip. So we get all the way to her house, to complete halfway through the journey. And I think the trip popped up to like $45 at that point. So we get all the way across town to where her house is, and it's dark outside now. The boyfriend is standing outside with no shirt on, beer belly, waiting for her. And the way she's talking, it makes it sound like he's like this aggressive abuser. She gets out the car and immediately demands to go in the house. And he's like got his arms folded, just standing there, and he's not budging. He's this big old dude. He wasn't budging. And she just starts because he didn't move fast enough. She just starts doing this whole Mike Tyson double-handed boom, 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 smacking the shit out of him. And he's just standing there like a statue. Yes, he's just standing there like a statue. And I already know what's happening. So she starts walking back to the car with her phone, and she starts calling 911 or whatever. And of course, she's acting like the victim on the phone. And he took my keys, left me stranded. I'm listening to this whole thing. So minutes later, we're in Scottsdale, of course, we're in the good end of town. It's like Hollywood and Phoenix. So we're in Scottsdale and the police show up, and the fucking police, first thing they do, is come to my car, because I'm the black guy sitting in the car, you know what I mean? I'm sitting out front. So they immediately come, even though my Uber light is on, the dumbass cop is like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm the Uber driver, my guy. I'm waiting for my passenger. I'm supposed to be taking her back to where she has to go get her car. She came up here to get her keys. That's all I'm here for. So he was like, wait, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh no, I was saying
he was like, well, wait right here. So him and this female partner walk up to them and they start talking or whatever and trying to, figure out what's going on. About 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, cop comes walking back. And mind you, I'm standing there and this woman is being charged this whole time because I'm having to wait because we're waiting for a second part of the trip. So it's clocking her for wait time and everything. So I'm not tripping. I'm just sitting there. I'm going, I'm thumbing through my phone, fucking around, making sure I ain't got, my own, paraphernalia or weapons in the car too. You know what I mean? So, so I'm looking, so I'm making sure everything's straight. And he's like, well, you can go ahead and go. She's not going to be able to go. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, well, I have to have her. She has to cancel the ride. I can't cancel the ride. This is her issue. So you got to let her know she has to cancel the ride. Otherwise, I have to call Uber, and it's going to escalate into a bigger issue, and it's probably going to go against her stats as a driver or as a passenger. So he goes and tells her, and he was like, she's going to go ahead and cancel the ride. And he was like, the reason she can't go back with you is because she agreed to take a breathalyzer in the argument, and she didn't pass the breathalyzer. So she had to stay there with the boyfriend overnight in an argument. You know what I mean? Hopefully, I drove off. I drove off.
See, that was dumb.
So I witnessed this woman beat this dude's ass. How are you gonna
leave these two together, and then the next day on the news it's gonna be like a drunk lady from an Uber got dropped off. Da, 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 da. Oh my god!
So
that's a crazy story. Both of those.
So there's another time, and these are all females. So there's another time I go to the fucking casino to go pick up this woman, this older chick, and she had to be in her 50s. I mean, she was cougar. I mean, straight cougar. She gets in the car, and I guess she had a couple of drinks because she was at the casino, and she started doing it. It turned into taxi cab confessions, and I wish I would have recorded it because she started telling me about her being an escort and how she was at the casino just now with a John. She didn't call him a trick. That's how old she was. She called him a John.
Wow.
That's how deep so me and Dice TV talked about this. So as an Uber driver, especially at night, we end up becoming traffickers for prostitutes and we don't even know it. And the way we find out is after the fact. Not to mention that when the girl usually gets in the car, she's escorted by her boyfriend slash pimp. And they're mean mugging me, you know, whatever, making sure, you know, trying to set the tone or whatever, let them know that's their property. The girl, and it's always the same thing. The girl gets in the car. She doesn't talk the whole way. You know, what it says very, nothing to very minimum, but it's super nice. We get to the spot, and every time me and Dice TV do this all the time. So when me and Dice talk to him, we go, is this the place where we'll pull up to? And we'll be like, is this, you know, where this red car is? And every time you know it's a prostitute because they do this. Oh, I don't even know. Hold on a minute. And they'll start thumbing their phone like they don't know where they live.
Exactly.
That's because they're going to a trick's house. They're doing escorting as a inbound call girl. And Uber is now making us be the traffickers for these women.
Yeah, that's really messed up to think about it. Like, I never even thought about it like that. Like, I never even thought, you know, like, wow.
So back in the day, your driver was usually your pimp. So the driver would get his cut, 50%, you know, whatever it is that you agreed upon. Using Uber, they have now discounted the pimp and still get the safety of being the passenger in the car.
Exactly.
So they still get that safety of being with a pimp and being delivered and, you know, going to their hot spots or whatever, but they don't have to pay the pimp or the driver. It gets deep. Uber is fucking up big time.
They definitely are. I've only had one crazy, like those were crazy stories. This one was like a happy crazy though. I picked up these two people. They were like, they had to go, this was when I was living in Georgia. They had to go all the way to like downtown Atlanta, and it was about 20 minutes from where I live and where I picked them up. And so we were driving and they were like, hey, if we give you $400, do you think that you could just take us to go, you know, I need some, that's what I was going to ask you. Is that her that you were just, is that the Kimmy you were talking about? Oh,
yeah,
that was
Kimmy,
so nice, Kimmy.
we were talking about your angel blessing yesterday, Kimmy. Good looking out on the team.
You are, that is amazing.
But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying, Red Bull?
So, yeah, they're offering me all this money, and they're like, well, we just need to like go pick up some, you know, green. We need to go do this. You can even go in the shops. They needed to go to like the farmer's market. I forgot what it was. And they were like, we'll buy you stuff from the farmer's market. I'm like,
I've had that.
oh. So I called
that happen.
I call my husband.
They don't want to pay. They don't want to pay for the extra destination. So they're like, yo, if you stop at Circle K by my house, I'll go inside and grab you a beer, or I'll go inside, you know, da da da.
This was like a whole, like a 3-hour, 4-hour ordeal, but I think it was $500 for $500, and then to whatever I wanted from the farmer's market, like food, anything, like, and then they had to go to some other like furniture place. I don't know what it was, but I called my husband. I was like, look, if I get kidnapped, like, this is their information, whatever. He was like, no, he was like, tell him my information. He was like, here you go. And I was just like, okay, I'll do it, you know, whatever. That was like 2 days worth of, you know, driving. So
I didn't have that deep. I think the most expensive one I've had, as far as like a ride, I think the most I had was like $52, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah, and that's
unheard of.
Mind you, the valley is big. I don't go out of the valley. Like I'll go from, there's like 4 regions here in the valley. So you have Phoenix, which is basically central. You have Scottsdale, which is like kind of like the east north side. And then you have the west side, which is like Avondale area. And then you have Tempe, Chandler, which is considered like more of the southeast side or of the valley or whatever. But they kind of map it out in 4 major regions. So when you go into your map, you can do a 2-hour block to where you don't want to deliver. Let's say your kids go to school on the west side. So you could put it in there that I don't want to go to Tempe, Chandler, or to Scottsdale. I just want to stay in Central Phoenix and on the west side.
I never knew
For
that.
2 hours, yeah, for 2 hours, it will only give you deliveries on that side of town. That way you can make sure you're not late to pick up your kids from school.
Where was I? I never even knew that. Like, that's crazy. That's
Well,
good.
you gotta get in there and play with the app a little bit because again, they give you a tutorial, but the tutorial's for shit. Like
I never
some of
watched
it's
them.
well, but they're for, like I said, they're not professionally done, you know, and it's like really quick. And for somebody who is not very mechanically inclined or very, you know, good with software or whatever, phones or whatever, and how fast they go through everything, you got to watch the video a couple of times if you're going to digest it. But most people as drivers, it's pretty cut and dry on how to pick somebody up and drop them off. You know what I mean? So I have to admit, I did not watch or read the app. I just went right to work and learned as I went. But as I started finding out shit, I was like, oh, there's the rhyme for the read. This is how they do it. This makes it a lot easier. So now after 3 years, I'm not only a 5-star driver, but I'm an efficient driver. So I know where all the shortcuts are. I know where I'm like a New York taxi cab driver. You know what I mean? I tell them, you know, when somebody from out of town comes, I'm like, yo, you got to go see the Botanical Gardens. You got to go to the Phoenix Zoo. You got to go, you know what I mean? So I'm that information guy when they ask too. So I give customer service. So my rides are top notch.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, let's see. I had 6 Senses on. What's up? Yeah, everybody started going. Like I said, we got to conform to a regular time and to come on, so that way we can make sure that the community knows, especially our supporters. You know what I mean? Because I for more times than not, because of my hectic schedule, I always get the comments, I missed the fucking live. I missed the live. Oh man, I missed it again. So we got to come up.
6 Sense is in a whole different 6 Sense. She's like she's in a different country and she's a day ahead of us. And she's always like, oh, I missed the live, or like she just said this yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, my thing is, okay, the kids go to school. Like, I would have to get up. If we do it like an hour early, I'd be good. You know, like if I woke up an hour before they had to go to school, I could do that. If I, you know, did it like what, baby? Okay, hold on. See, but Phoenix being home, so I mean, we can do it. I don't know. We just have to figure it out. But it's just like I get distracted easily. You know that, like my ADHD. So when my kids are running around, I'm just like, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
No worries. I mean, even if what I wanted to do is I wanted to try to get a Johnny Carson thing going where I have a regular. What I want is a female counterpart that can give, you know, balance me out as far as perspective on a lot of this Me Too bullshit. You know what I mean? Where they can just, you know, and who I would love to get on the team is somebody who is not allowed to be online at this moment. I think you know who I'm talking about. We're not going to mention her name, but somebody would be excellent on the team to have. That wasn't, yeah, that part. So if I could get her, on here with an alias on a regular basis, that would just make it good. But the problem I'm having is that because she's famous, you know what I mean? Yeah. She can't show her face. But if I bring her on, you know what I mean? If her attorney gives her the green light, like we're trying to get. No, well, I'm talking about as far as like the niche and stories, you know, that we worked on.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? As far as like a celebrity guest type of thing, you know what I mean? That went through drama and bullshit and had to pull herself.
I don't see her not being able to, like you said, and there's even like disguiser, like voice, whatever, you know. It doesn't have to go that far.
I want her to come on like how you're coming on, where people actually get to see the face of, you know what I mean? Because that would make it more fitting as far as like the sincerity, the seriousness of what we're trying to do as far as awareness, because now we have somebody that's been in the fire that has now got the green light to tell her story. You know what I mean? That would
Okay,
be dope. And then have her tell her story and then be on here as a regular, on a regular basis. You know what I mean?
well, that's what
Until she
I
gets
was
her own,
gonna
until she
tell
sets
you.
up her own platform.
I was gonna tell you the other day about Amanda Hobbs, Terry Hobbs' daughter.
Mhm.
So we did an interview. I was really sick that day. I actually went to the hospital, but I was trying to make it past this little part one interview. And I need to talk to you about. I'll talk to you about her off of here, but that could be a person. She has a lot of stuff in mind. But me and Coffee do need to speak to you about her. Uh,
Okay. You'll
you
never
know
guess who reached out to me and offered me to talk to Judge Joe Brown on a podcast.
who?
Jay Prince for president. He hit me up about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was like right before I started moving, and because he has my personal cell number, because we podcast about Daryl Brooks or whatever, and we had to get a hold of each other in regards to
Mhm.
the content, and scheduling. So
You better do something with Judge Joe Brown. That would be amazing.
he hit me up and he was like, "Yo, I mean, now mind you, Jay Prince is not a fan favorite of a lot of people, but
Yeah.
how he talks off camera is not the same as how he talks on camera. He's actually he's actually, as far as intellectual goes, he impressed me. He was talking to
Mhm.
me about my channel. He was talking to me about stuff that I can do on my lives and stuff like that. And a lot of it was stuff that I, as a seasoned content creator, I was not even privy of even thinking about. But he also dabbles with other content creators too that are not in our niche that he gets advice from also. So he hit me up and he was like, "Yo, I did a commercial," and he was like, "I'm gonna send you a link. I did a commercial for Judge Joe Brown back in the day, but nobody really knows about it or whatever." And he sent me the link, and I looked at it. It was pretty good. I mean, you could tell it wasn't no Lincoln Project, CNN, commercial type, you know what I mean, professional commercial,
Mhm.
but you could tell that he put his all into it, and it was pretty decent for Jay Prince. So and
Yeah.
he was like, I also podcasted with him in the past with other people, and I started looking through Jay Prince's shit, and he's had some semi-famous BC celebrities on his shit. You know what I mean? As far as like professional doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, Judge Joe Brown, who is celebrity slash judge.
I
And
love
so,
Joe Brown.
well,
Judge
he
Joe
was
Brown.
talking about the family rights aspect because my other channel is for the parental rights stuff. So he was like, yeah, he was like, I want to get you on there with me and Judge Joe Brown. And I was like, well, what are we going to be talking about? And that was the only thing that we didn't have. We had the opportunity, but we just didn't have the substance to talk about. And I just didn't want to go on there freestyling it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to get with him and figure out how we're going to nail this down to where it's palatable and digestible for the audience, without them being turned off, because of Jay Prince and, or whatever his reputation.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Well, that's
So,
cool. I mean, it sounds like you have a lot
man,
coming,
if
and
I could get, if I was trying to think of the questions that I would have to ask Judge Brown, but him being so older and just with all the shit that he just went through, because I think he went into politics after, he was done being a judge. He tried to go into
yeah.
politics and he lost.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so I know in his older age, he feels some type of way as far as politically about America. So
Mhm.
I got a feeling this conversation is going to be pretty epic as far as parental rights and then his view now as far as America and politics and how it's going. So I'm kind of excited. I've been looking forward to trying to pin this interview down. I got another
That's
interview coming
very
up.
exciting.
I got another
You know.
interview coming up too. The trolls that tried to troll the attorney that I did the commercial for, the attorney reached
Mhm.
back out to me and was like, "Yo, what the fuck's going on? Da, 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 da. I got this woman trying to threaten me with a bar complaint or some shit about you." And I was
Oh,
like,
you told
I,
me about
I
that.
don't know why. And I was like, he was like, "Well, she was claiming that you said that you were one of our paralegals and that you worked for us." And I was like, you already know I'm a former paralegal. and you were my friend, and I did a commercial for you because you gave me advice, advice, not legal advice, on how to handle my shit DIY. And to repay you for that golden advice, I did a commercial for you for free, and I showed it
Mhm.
online and everything else. So this troll saw the commercial and assumed because I was in it shaking hands with this attorney that I was part of his law office.
These, I swear, people are so weird. I have never even in my life seen all this bull crap. Like, why? How do they get time to make these calls and harass people all day? And like, don't you guys have your own lives? I don't understand at all. How?
So
I could
with
never.
this attorney, the attorney is now a DI is a friend of mine. So the question, I have 20 questions that I wanted to ask, and he wants to do more. But I basically had 20 questions that I went through, and I ran through ChatGPT to make sure they were intelligent questions asked properly. Basically, how to deal with his advice on when and when not to hire an attorney, when to keep it DIY, when to fire an attorney or let an attorney go when they're done with their portion of the case that you want them to work on, how to let
Uh-huh.
them go without it turning into a toxic, more of a toxic thing than what you and your ex are dealing with. So so I can't wait for that interview either, because that's going to show a lot of parents on how to get the edge, especially for those of us that are low income parents, you know what I mean, that want to do the right thing. He's going to sit down and tell us, this is when you should get an attorney, or this is when, or this level of toxicity is where I would advise, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So
Hmm. Well,
yeah,
you
I
know
can't
what
wait.
else we can do is like just reach out to people, email. Like we can do it too, because the more people that email, people that you would think about wanting on your podcast, like you would like to speak to, you never know what they would say. Like, you
Well,
know who I
I,
think is very interesting? I forgot his name. Kevin. Have you ever heard of Kevin the lawyer? He has his
I
own,
have.
yes.
Is he the white dude that hold on, there's two of them. Is he the black dude or the white dude that talks shit about celebrities?
Oh no, he's the white dude, but he doesn't talk shit. He's a defense attorney, and
Yeah,
he's really well.
he does he have like a bat in the background, or does he have a bat or a gun on the desk or background of
No.
his? Okay,
Uh-uh.
because there's one that
Wait.
would come on that talks shit about celebrities that are in crime that are on the news, like, and he would go on there and talk shit, like when Megan Thee Stallion and her ex were getting into it or whatever a year ago. That was
Mm-hmm.
like the last video I seen, and he was like an Italian dude, an older Italian guy, probably in his 40s or 50s, and he was very articulate, but on his
Uh-huh.
desk he had it looked like a cigar. It was like an ashtray for cigars, but on the ashtray was like a mounted gun that was part of the prop. And he used to set his cigars like around it or whatever. But he would talk about
Oh.
being a defense attorney for celebrities and high end crimes and stuff.
Oh, I don't know. No, that's not him, but I've never heard of that guy. Hold on, baby. Um, but Kevin, I'll send you his channel because you probably do. Like, you've probably seen him before. Um, maybe you just don't know the name.
Well, yeah, send me the link and let me know. Six Cent says, "Do you have time, energy to do a chat up live stream, Lexi? Say once a fortnight."
We can do that, like, cause I wanted to do the mental health stuff a while ago. Six cents. So we were gonna do like a mental health Mondays. It was supposed to be every week, and we did it like one time. It was just like to, talk about
Test the
anything, just to
waters.
get away. Huh?
Test the waters.
Yeah, like just to get away from like all the crime and just whatever. But then we just didn't do it anymore. You know me.
Well, I'm sticking with the crime. Miss Kimmy says, "I have Legal Shield, a prepaid legal service. I'm curious if they would be willing to come on and do a podcast and a possible partnership with Uber Lyft drivers. That would be awesome if that could happen. That would be awesome. Yeah, because
That
I'm
would be.
I'm right now. I've already looked at my new place, and they just built the apartments, so there's nobody has ever lived in it, and it's like all newly wired for internet and all that stuff. I mean, that was some of the perks they were showing were really cool. And it's a big ass kitchen, and I could put a portable island in there. It's that big, but it's a 3 bedroom. I think it's 1,800 square feet or something like that. But long story short,
Oh, wow.
um, there's plenty of room for me and the kids and for me to set up my own desk area for the podcast. So what I want
Okay.
to do is before I start getting these new people on there, I want to get to the new place with my internet set up so I can, you know what I mean? No issues, don't have to worry about, the maintenance man, knocking on the door, or my mom or anything like that because I'm using her internet at her house right now. So, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm
Yeah.
at with it.
Well, once you're moved in and all settled, like it'll all come together, and then you make your little area and everything will go back to normal. Like it'll all, just slow down. It'll be less hectic. It'll be less, stressed, and
Oh,
it
I
feels
agree.
so good. It feels
Get
so
out of this
good, once you're moved
get out of
in
this
and
freaking get out of this freaking weekly that we're staying in now because man, this is costing me, like I said, around
I
$500 a
told
week.
you. Yeah, you're
Man,
paying how much? You said like 500 a week or
about
300?
500 a week. Yeah, 500 a week more or less, and that's not including like they want you to pay like extra for like internet and laundry, laundry access and all this other little perks that come with the facility. And I'm just like, nah, I just put me on the third floor where it's the cheapest. I don't need the ground floor. I'll take the elevator or do the stairs. Put me at the cheapest place. What I mean? I don't need all that. So yeah, I think it's like 470 something that I pay per week.
I've been there, and it's definitely like when you're trying to save up for a place and you have kids, you have to buy food, you have to do that, and it's so hard to be at a hotel. But you're almost out. Like,
Oh yeah, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not I even well, you know me, even if I'm enclosed in darkness, I never panic. You know what I mean? I already know. I'm like on Kill Bill, when old girl gets stuck in the coffin in the ground. I'm just like, okay, what do I have? Oh, let me take off my shoe. Let me start beating the wood. Let me start digging myself out. You know what I'm saying? Because I know ain't nobody gonna come save me. You know what I mean? As far as like,
mhm,
a captain or whatever. Friends, Kimmy,
yeah,
what I'm saying, will come through, you know what I mean? But but as far as like the big picture, you support is always good, but as far as like the big picture, it's you who has to drive the energy. It's you who has to walk to the water to drink, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to carry you.
exactly.
So,
Oh,
but
um,
Lexi, as we're friends, I want to settle the white boy issue. Despite personal disagreements, I'm prepared to be respectful and civil, as white boy is a supporter of you and your channel. I like white boy. What
well,
happened with
okay,
white boy?
so, well, Sixth Sense has been here from the beginning, and I was like, hey, you should go check out his channel, and she went there, and it wasn't white boy, it was his wife that, Sixth Sense and him. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I think it was something being said to Sixth Sense, and
Mhm.
you have to understand his wife. I don't know. Maybe it was like a wrong day or whatever. But I did even ask him, but he didn't. We don't remember, like, unless you're one of our support. Like, I always remember you. But if somebody was like, hey, this person
A
said it,
random.
yeah, in a
Mhm.
minute, baby. Um, I appreciate that, Sixth Sense. Because White Boy the other day, he was like, whenever you want to come on panel, because he's against the cyberbullying. He wants
Yeah.
to go over the Russian that wants to call CPS on me so bad.
Oh,
Stacy's
yeah.
little
Oh,
niece.
okay.
He
Hold on,
wants
hold
to,
on. You're talking about Kyron Horman case?
yeah.
They're still on you guys? They're still
I
trolling?
didn't know that. Oh my God, I didn't even know. I did not know. The other day we had like 10 screenshots of this Russian this whole time because we don't look over there. Somebody was like, "Do you guys know that this Russian girl is still everywhere trying to get people to call CPS on you?" I gotta send you those messages. Oh,
Wow. It's funny
oh,
how that's how you know the mental stunting of emotional stunting of certain individuals. This woman is a professional, claims to be a professional CPS or DCS agent.
Oh no, this is a different run. This is the Russian. This is the remember the Russian?
The leprechaun?
No, not the leprechaun, but the Russian that she's connected to Stacy and all of them, and that caseworker.
Well, I thought when I saw the Russian aspect of it, I remember we thought it was a bot or something because we couldn't find
Yeah,
her
but it's
to do it.
not. It's not. It's a person that is too coward to use the real information, too coward to call. See, I told them the other day. That's why we went live. I was like, you know what? Call the damn people already, because I mean, she's not going to do it. She knows that she can get charged because I have the screenshot of her saying, you know, there's nothing wrong. Let's just do it. It's weird. I didn't know it was still going on. I mean, it's been how long? Like
A year?
yeah, it's been
Plus?
she's been on this whole time trying this stuff still.
Sounds like my ex, boy.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't want all that. I don't need it.
Sounds like my ex. Man,
Right?
Jesus Christ.
Maybe
Yeah.
we need to like hook them up, you know?
Well, I know I'm going to go live here in a little while on my other channel for the father's rights. I'm trying to get a hold of Lamont so we can talk about some stuff because on the father's rights side, we're going to get into there's a thing that's going on with child support in some of the other states, and Texas in particular. The fathers, well, the co-parents are fighting back on child support and trying to make it so that child support is now on a debit card, kind of like EBT, where it can be kept track of the expenses. So she can't I get my child support on an EBT card, and I understand the pretense of worrying about where the money's going or whatever. But my whole thing is that if you're giving child support, it's kind of like charity. Once you give that money up, it's not your concern or business how the money is spent. Your job is to provide the money, not regulate how it's spent. Because even when I get child support, my ex tries to tell me, well, you could go do this and you can do this. And I'm just like, you do realize that you pay $100 a month for 3 teenage kids.
Yeah.
You telling me how I could budget out that $100 is gas money, piss in the wind as far as my finances go. I spend $25 a day on gas alone first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So that little $100 is basically going to last 3 weeks, if that. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
that $100 is actually going to last 4 days.
I was about to say 3 weeks. What?
Yeah, 4 days. Sorry, because
No,
what toxic parents don't take in consideration is that even though you pay child support, you're not taking in consideration the expenses outside of child support that I'm paying for having the kids full time. You're paying $100 a month and you see them every other weekend.
Yeah.
How does that balance out?
It doesn't. I mean,
I pay for everything, and then it blows my mind, in my case, which people already know, which I'll talk about on the other channel, how they feel entitled to be victimized because they have a uterus. You know what I mean? In my case, it's like, oh no, and it's like, hold on, wait a minute. We've already proven that you are the aggressor in your current domestic violence relationship, and you were the aggressor in ours. That's why we're not together anymore. The only difference is that I didn't give you a chance to put your hands on me to where I had to call the police. I got hit in the jaw one time. That's all it took. And we were done. That's all it takes. I don't keep coming back. I'm no Erica Patterson. I don't keep coming back for more because I need to have somebody in my bedroom.
This whole like the Me Too and all those fucking trolls, because it's not only women. Everybody only thinks about like women. Oh, they're victims. Oh, they're this and that. And it's like, no, that's not it.
Is that they never want to take the man serious as far as his complaints. Like right now, and I'm kind of exposing myself a little bit online as far as my personal stuff, but I actually had to go apply for food stamps. And I went and showed my YouTube, my Uber information. I showed my court custody paperwork. I've showed everything. And I had just filed my taxes the day before I went to DES to see if I can get assistance. It's been 2 months, 2 months, and I still haven't got assistance. I called 13
Oh,
times and went
oh no,
in person. Oh, go ahead.
no, I can. Okay, it's everywhere. They are behind, and it's ridiculous. But
No, but hold on, hold on. Let me explain.
okay,
So
go ahead. Go ahead.
I understand that, and I took that in consideration when I escalated, because after my eighth call, because when I
Mm-hmm.
first called, I'm like, look, I'm educated. Just tell me what I need to submit, and I'll submit it to you. We don't have to draw this out. So on the eighth call, I'm talking to, like, and this is the way they have it set up here in Arizona. They're short staffed, like you said. So they're going through this hiring process, and they got people they're training on site, as well as
Yeah.
people they're training to be on the phones to do it, remotely. The people
Mm-hmm.
that are remotely doing it are working through a third party agency. They're not working through the state directly. The ones that are working in the DES office are working directly through the state as an employee. So the third party people that are qualified to work for DES are talking shit about the people in the office not doing their job, and vice versa. So I'm going back and forth. When you call the people on the phone for an interview, you have to talk to the screener, who is the trainee. They put you on hold for up to an hour to look over your whole case while you're already waiting for like 15 minutes for somebody to get on the phone. So for like half hour, 45 minutes, hour, whatever, they're looking, depending on how trained they are, they're going through your whole case every time. They get back on the line and they're like, okay, I'm looking at your case. You still need to submit this, 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 and this. So after the eighth time, this lady gets on there and she starts talking very slow to me like I'm a child. And so I'm like, look, not to be braggadocious, and I always do that. I'm a former paralegal. I
Mm-hmm.
take instructions very well. All you have to do is tell me one time what I need. And if I don't get it, I will find somebody to get it for you. But I take instructions very well. Me having to call and waste all this time because I can't be on the phone while I'm driving and working. So, and have passengers in the car and all that stuff. So I have to be able to function. And you guys making me call in every time for every document needed instead of just giving me everything up front is cutting into my time of work trying to get
Mm-hmm.
assistance from you guys. So I'm adding up all these hours in the last 2 months. It's been exactly 24 hours that I have wasted accumulatively trying to get assistance from the state in a system that I have over the years paid buku tax dollars into. And when I just
Mm-hmm.
filed my taxes, they just got me for 9,000 fucking dollars.
For what?
Because I'm 1099. I don't
Oh
pay
yeah.
into Medicare and
Yeah.
Medicaid during the year. Like, when you're W-2, your employer, taxes you, like, you get a choice between like 6, 8, 10, 12%, whatever, on federal state taxes or whatever that they take out towards Medicare and Medicaid and all that stuff. Well, as a 1099, I'm supposed to be setting money aside to make up for that. So when I file at the end of the year, they don't take $9,000 from me, from my gross income. They go ahead
Yeah.
and, I have that money already in savings for tax purposes. And I can just pay that and then I get a fat check back. But the only thing that saved me was the child tax credit, as far as me getting a couple of grand back or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, which I'm still waiting on. But as
Yeah.
far as even that, I probably won't get that back because of the fucking student loan issue. My student loan was only 10K. And then I had it knocked down because after I became a student, I got hired on as an employee at the same college. So they went into my financial aid and they knocked it down to $800. I'd made payments on that and didn't realize that I didn't have. Right now, they're saying that I still owe $7,000 on an $800 fucking deducted loan from being an employee at the school.
Wait, you
So
have
I've
what?
graduated. You can call the college and you can verify that I'm an alumni. You can verify my graduation date in November 2011. for employment issues, everything like that. But they will not give me a physical fucking diploma showing that I graduated until I paid them $7,000 with interest accumulating still to this day.
That's ridiculous.
And I
Where
graduated in
did that?
2011. So every time I get income taxes, they take that money because the interest on those federal loans is the highest they can make it. So when I pay into my loans, every year or every month or whenever I pay to my student loans, I'm only paying part of the principal.
Yeah,
I'm not paying into anything else. So it just keeps accumulating debt even more.
it's ridiculous. I owe them too. But what was the student loan forgiveness thing? I didn't even look into that. Did you?
It
Weren't they?
it was bullshit. I signed up for it. I got 2 emails saying that I was qualified, blah blah blah, and then I got a couple emails after that with excuses from Joe Biden saying that Donald Trump and the Republican MAGA party and I'm paraphrasing, but they try to blame it back and forth, and he's all because of the Republicans could fight back on this, da 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 da. They have it tied up in the courts right now, and blah blah blah. So basically, we didn't get the student loan forgiveness. Even though we
Wow.
qualified for it. So you want to talk
As
about
for the,
crimes? You want to talk about crimes against America? All this
we need
money
to.
that we've been paying, all this money that we've been paying as far as jobs, taxes, everything that we try to do to fucking pay into the system, whatever it is, trying to do the right thing. These
Yeah.
politicians have gutted out everything that we have to get themselves filthy rich, to become an elite. It's like they're trying to get in while the getting's good, because then they know that this well is going to dry up sooner than later.
And that's
So you
every
got all
single politician that's running. Like I don't believe anything anymore. I'm just like, you know
it's
what?
everybody from Donald Trump to Joe Biden to Nancy Pelosi to all of them. Every one of them, Lindsey Graham, every one of them have financial stocks and are betting against the stock market on the laws that they are have privy to. So they have insider trading knowledge, and there is nothing against the Constitution. There's nothing against the law allowing them to do this.
Yeah, Six Sense. She said USA tax system is diabolical. I have an online US friend who immigrated to New Zealand. They were shocked by the differences. I bet like every country out there is probably just laughing at us. Like it's
And it's
ridiculous.
not just that these politicians has fucked us as far as the drug and food industry, as far as like our prescriptions.
Prescription. Me and
I was
Garnett, I mean,
watching.
possibly just speaking about that. Oh my
Do you know?
God.
Yeah. So the medication that we get here in America, we pay more for it than any other country below or above us or on across the ocean. Every
Mm-hmm.
other government negotiates on behalf of their citizens. Our
Yeah.
politicians work against us to find out how they can get lobbying money and paid on the back end for keeping our civilians addicted to opioids.
Yep.
And then when the
Exactly.
pandemic starts, when the fentanyl and the pandemic and all that become out of control, then they try to step back and say, oh, well, we didn't know. And it's the border and it's the Chinese are bringing it across. And it's like, no, the pharmaceutical companies are all here in America or in Puerto Rico or one of our what do you call them? One of our subsidiary states that we won't make a state because you guys are so worried about being pulled out of power. If they make America, Somalia, and Puerto Rico, and all these other places, states where these people can actually have a bid, even Washington, D.C. itself, where they actually have a pool as far as voting, there wouldn't be a Republican Party. Because the Republican Party would just, Puerto Rico alone, they have raped that island to where they can't even have schools or necessities or anything. They can't even get anything, public plumbing or anything done because they owe so much debt to America.
Yeah.
And I was doing a little bit of homework about it, and it turned out that our politicians it's a territory of ours. So as a territory, we protect them and we claim them, but we do not give them the same rights and privileges as regular American taxpaying citizens do. So we'll take their money and we'll law and judge over them, but we will not allow them to get welfare. We will not allow them to vote. You know what I mean? And all this other stuff. So when they start having an issue on their island, or let's say as a territory with Puerto Rico specifically, back in the 50s and 60s, when America was booming as far as like the auto industry and pharmaceuticals and all that, the
Mhm.
politicians gave all these pharmaceutical companies all these tax breaks to go to Puerto Rico to open up these businesses to where they didn't have to pay next to nothing. Kind of like what Trump has been doing with, with all of our elite people, where he's telling all the voters how he's going to lower taxes, and then all of a sudden he gives a tax break to all the rich people. And now, even
Mhm.
now, we're hearing on the hot mics how he's going to screw us over if he gets into power, and he's going to do it again and make sure that there's bailouts for all these rich people, Jeff Bezos and all these other people. But we're not. That's why he had Elon Musk and them go up to the fucking Mar-a-Lago when he got hit with that lawsuit and he had to pay that $400 billion or whatever, close to $5 billion. Elon
Yeah.
Musk and all these heads showed up over there. It's because he's trying to make backdoor promises saying, look, if you bail me out, I'll bail you out later.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now. So all this two-tier justice system and all this back and forth about victimhood and crimes or whatever, they're all guilty. Trump, Biden, all of them are guilty of the same thing. The,
They
the,
are.
the problem the problem that we're having now is that we're so far behind. It's kind of like when you watch the movies in the future, like Aliens and stuff, and you see all
Mhm.
these corporations that have taken over, and you're no longer a citizen of a planet. You're now a citizen of a corporation. So you're like an indentured servant, on an asteroid. That's similar to what we're at right where we're going to right now, where the laws are so layered and thick and packed upon each other that the average person doesn't have the finances to
Mhm.
defend themselves legally when there's an injustice. And if
Yeah.
they have to go up against somebody like a Donald Trump who has infinite enough money to prolong the case and then dry you out as far as your legal expenses. So you
Yeah.
have to give up the case. And that's Donald Trump's strategy, even to this day. When he was
Mhm.
working and when I was a kid and when I was in Jersey, he had these golf courses and Trump Taj Mahal or whatever casino or whatever. And what he would
Mhm.
do is he would contract these mom and pop businesses to to refurbish the carpets and to put in tiles in the bathroom and to put caulking around the tub in the hotel bathrooms and all this stuff he would have done. And then what he would do is he would go in there and look for a small imperfection to stand on to make himself a victim to where he felt he did not have to pay for the service. So he would
What?
see something. Yes, and this is time and time again. So, and what happens is these lawsuits get buried because he's an elite. And what he does is he hires these scummy attorneys that work for, scummy money that are,
Mhm.
with an unending, well of money. And they're putting up all these, what do you call it, NDAs, or
Yeah.
they're prolonging the case like he does now to where they have to continue it, or they look for minor indiscretions or whatever to prolong it. And their attorneys are eating up the civilians that are fighting against Donald Trump and Biden and whoever else these elites are getting sued from that we don't know about. So all of these
Mhm.
people, just like with myself with Uber, I'm just a drop in the bucket. But
Exactly.
If you go on Reddit, you'll see here Reddit has a ton of issues with Uber drivers, or how dangerous is driving for Uber. Anything I need to know before signing up. There are mad threads here for Reddit
Yeah.
on what to do, horror stories, other people that are, clapping back saying, well, I've been driving for 9 years and I've never had an incident, da 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 da. But
That's
it's just
exactly where I went to first when that happened because I was trying to see what else I could do, and they had so many people's accounts like it happened to them and nothing.
But
I mean,
but being just one person, I happen to have a platform where I can speak out. My problem is that I have to make it engaging enough for enough people to take notice and to give a fuck to take action or whatever, or for
I
somebody
feel
to
like we should do that with the whole food stamp. I wrote a post the other day about the food stamps because there are fathers, mothers, what with children out here starving while these people while the workers aren't doing their jobs. I had to call I had to email the governor's office, and then this is what I was going to tell you. Um but it's different. You're in over there, so
Yeah.
I don't know. There's another number that you can call, and you make a complaint. They send it to your worker, and they tell them that you have 24 hours to call. You know, your whatever, you know, the person that they
Hmm.
have. So I got a call within 2 days, and you know, they did what they had to do. But there's so many others that don't know the information, and you know what? Like they're 3 months, 4 months behind, and
Well,
it's
my
ridiculous.
whole problem is I get a female every time that's in her 40s, 30s, 40s, and they're
Uh-huh.
obviously bitter because when they come on the line, they go through my whole case, and well, being a person of color, how people when they want to be assholes, especially racially motivated assholes, they use microaggression to try to
Yeah.
fuck with you to get a rise out of you, so they can try to victimize themselves when you stand up for yourself, and they're like,
Hmm.
"What? All I said is a question. All I did was that," you know what I mean? And they try to minimize what they did, even though they've been a fucking pest. So it's the same thing with these women. I'm calling them on this hotline and I'm asking them, yo, I need assistance, da 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 da. And they go through my whole file. And then they're telling me, oh, well, the last person said you need to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, this is like literally the 13th time that I called in and dealt with somebody, or no, sorry, the last time I went in person. So I'm talking to the lady through the plexiglass, and I'm like, this is the 13th interaction that I've had, either online or in person. And I know you saw me here yesterday, the day before or whatever, because I'm the only
Hmm.
one, I'm the only tall black guy with a fucking sling. You know what I mean? So I'm like, why is it that everybody that comes on here is an expert and knows more than the last woman that I talked to previously? And it's always the same. I talk to one person, doesn't matter if they're on the phone or not, they'll always tell me, well, the last person you talked to was wrong. You have to do this. So I got a new chef in the kitchen that wants to give me a different recipe regarding the same fucking food.
Okay, but I'm gonna message you the information, because I'm telling you there's ways to get past it, and you shouldn't even have to do that, but you have to go higher than even, you know, their office and the
Oh no,
governor's
I
office.
did. I did. I When I got on the phone, I actually got a supervisor on the phone. And I don't know if I record. I think I might have recorded the conversation, but the lady tried to be the supervisor tried to be an asshole. I asked her, "What did the lady before you put on the notes?" And she started reading the notes, and she was like, you refuse to roll with the process of giving up the information. What they wanted was they wanted Victoria worked, my oldest daughter, last year at 16, worked for Dollar Tree for 4 weeks, for 3 weeks. She was hired for 4 weeks. She missed one day, and then she quit afterwards because she had to start school. So she only worked 3 weekends, right? And you got two different checks or whatever. So they saw in the computer that she no longer worked there. This is after I talked to like 11 people. The lady's on the phone telling me, well, we need Victoria's financial information showing that she's not working. And I was like, well, you just saw that she's not working. Why would you need me to prove that? That was last
Yeah.
year. That was like 7, 8 months ago. You mean to tell me that I have to go to her employer, who may or may not be there, and ask them as her father to come out of pocket and write a letter showing that she's no longer working there as of 7 months ago? That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So I said, and not only that, nobody else told me about this 12 calls ago, or however many people I talked to before this. Every time I call in, there's always something new that I have to do, a new hurdle or new, hoop I got to jump through in order to get help. What the fuck is really going on? It seems like you guys are, and I explained, I said, I used
Yeah,
to work in
that's
collections. I used to work in collections. And when we got somebody on the phone and they were a belligerent jerk or an asshole, or they rubbed somebody the wrong way, there was a certain code that we can put in the notes that other collectors would know. Hey, this one's right to fuck with. He's emotionally unstable. You can ask questions, da, 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 da. And we knew we could fuck with that person because that person was never going to pay us. They were just going to try to
yeah.
waste our time on the phone. So we would fuck with them on the phone. And I said, it feels like I'm getting handled the same way. I said, your employee went in there and told a lie saying that I did not want to turn in my paperwork and I didn't agree with the process. I was like, that was not true. I was like, what I did is I had an argument with how you guys are submitting the process. I said, you guys keep drip drying the fucking information that I need to submit, and instead of just telling me up front everything that needs to be done. I said, we're rolling into month 2 now, and I can't get any assistance. What part of the game is this?
You
I said, this is starting to feel like it's starting to feel like discrimination, because I get these women on here that want to challenge me as far as my freedom papers. They want to go over my whole file to make sure I have full custody. They want to know the backstory on this. They want to, and I have to re-explain myself every phone call before I can even get to an interviewer. And then when I get to the interviewer does the exact same thing and then tells me, well, as the interviewer, I know you submitted this paperwork saying that but this only says that you were staying at this place. It doesn't say that you and the kids were staying at this place together. And I'm like, you have the paperwork showing I have full custody of the kids and the mother gets them every other weekend. Where the fuck else are the kids are going to be staying?
Yeah, that's too. You shouldn't have to go through that much,
It's
and that's why I'm saying,
discrimination.
like, it is. And for something to be done, like, we can. Everybody should want to be a part of something. If everybody would work together and help and want to make a change, then something could be done. But it's so hard.
Well, the thing is like the more I try to complain about what I'm going through with CPS, or not CPS, with DES, and trying to get some type of assistance, because I'm not even asking for cash assistance. All I'm asking for is the nutrition assistance to make sure that I'm not paying these inflated prices in between going through this Uber bullshit, and transitioning to move, because I get $100 a month in fucking child support, from a fucking toxic ass bitch, you know what I mean? That wants to laugh when we're struggling, you know what I mean? Because my son asked me yesterday too, when Kimmy came through with the 75, my son reached out to my mom to his mom and put her on speakerphone and was like, "Hey, mom, dad's going through some stuff." And I was like, "What are you doing?" And little Norm was like, "I'm calling mom, because you need assistance." So she was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "We're transferring over to a new place. I've already got approved." I said, "I just got to wait till next week or whatever, but I have to pay rent at this weekly and I'm $75 short. You mind helping out a little bit?" Her immediate answer, I didn't even say a little bit. And she's like, "Nope," on speakerphone in front of my kids. And they're all hearing this because little Norm called her on his own. So I'm like, he put me on the spot and inadvertently put her on the spot. And she made herself look like an asshole in front of the kids by going, "Nope."
Wow.
So then she turned around on speakerphone and was like, "Is that the only reason you called me, was to try to help your dad?" And Norman was like, "No." He was like, "Never mind. I'm sorry I called you." And he hung up the phone on her. This is my 15-year-old son. You know what
I
I
know.
mean?
I'm like,
Trying to,
they're so grown for, how they're so mature and grown for how old they are. And it's like, she's done and she's put them through so much. So they're just
oh,
like,
we just got done. If you guys have been watching a lot, we just got done having a meeting with CPS because she called CPS. We went to family court for I didn't even tell you. So we go to court for a modification.
wait,
Like,
like besides different from the last time.
different from the last
I
time.
mean,
We're there
wait,
for the
why
tax.
are they gonna keep coming out if she that
Hold
should
on.
that,
Her modification was denied with an attorney. I beat her and her attorney. She was denied. She owed back child support. Matter of fact, they said instead of $100 a month, you're now going to be garnished because you can't pay it on your own $100 a month. So now we're going to garnish, and then we're going to take another $100 a month. So you're going to pay $200 a month, $100 for the back child support, and then the $100 for your current. And that's where she's at right now. So even with that, she's still, they're still having to, garnish her shit. She still doesn't want to come out of pocket. But what's happening is that my daughter, my 12-year-old, has her cell phone, and
mhm,
the mother is paying for the cell phone. I didn't agree for the cell phones at all, because
yeah.
I with my oldest, yes, but the two younger ones at the time, it was like 3 or 4 years ago, wasn't agreeing with a cell phone because they were too young and weren't mature enough to handle that responsibility.
Mhm.
Fast forward, Leah's 12 years old now and has a cell phone, and her mom are at ends because not only is her mom holding this, she's able to pay the bill, don't get me wrong, but what her mom does is she tries to hold the cell phone as like a carrot and stick over them for information. Or for, oh, you don't want to come to my house instead, da 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 da. Even though she's only supposed to have visits every other weekend, she tries to coax them to come over off weekends or try to tell me that they want to come over, because what she's trying to do is she's trying to do like I teach fathers, and she's getting a calendar together, and she's trying to keep track of the days that she doesn't have visits but has access to the kids. So when she is eligible to do a modification a year later in Arizona, she can try to come with evidence saying, look, he needs my help. It has to be more than just every other weekend because he's asking me to watch him on these days. And it's not that I'm asking, it's that I'm saying, look, I have this going on. I'm asking you to co-parent. I'm not asking you to.
Kids are more than $200 or $100 a
Thank you.
month.
So it's not that I need help. I'm not asking you to pay my bills. I'm not asking you to, to do anything out of the. What I'm asking you to do is keep an eye on the kids for a while because they don't want to be at my place by themselves, or they don't want to hang out with grandma, whatever the issue is. But they would rather be over there for a couple hours while I work. But the thing is that you call CPS for every little thing, and the kids are tired of being interrogated. So what happened on the last visit, we just get through CPS. Last weekend, the kids go to visit. My ex takes my 12-year-old to the fucking doctors because her stomach hurt. She claimed that she was having a tummy ache or whatever. And instead of giving her Pepto-Bismol or whatever, she takes her to the ER for a pregnancy test.
Oh my God. What is wrong with this lady?
This is how toxic my ex is. And I wish I wish I would recorded it, but I don't. I'm glad I didn't. Me and my 12-year-old are in the car together, and my 12-year-old is like, Dad, can I tell you something? And I'm like, yeah, I'm taking her to school or whatever. We had just dropped off her brother and sister. She was like, Mom had me scared so much over the weekend about taking a pregnancy test. And I know I'm not pregnant. I don't, I don't even, I've never even kissed a boy, let alone, and she knows about the birds and the bees. She's my daughter. So she's like, she was like, I knew there was nothing, but the way she kept talking about it, she had me worried I was pregnant.
Oh my.
This is my 12-year-old. My 12-year-old is telling me this.
That's
so not
disgusting.
only am I having to deal with DES, CPS, I'm having to deal with this fucking kook of ex-girlfriend, Maryville's finest, hyper toxic, and the courts won't do anything about it. CPS won't do anything about it. I called the non-emergency number.
And it's like, bitch, you're married, or not married, but whatever. You got your little foot thing going on. You got your, like stay away. Leave me and my kids alone because this is just not going to work anymore. It's ridiculous. The CPS, does she not even understand? Like, it's not a game, even though there's nothing going on, but we all know how corrupt they are.
Well, I explained to him, I said, if you look at the pattern, I said, every time we go to family court for anything, you guys have allowed her through enabling to automatically call CPS with no provocation to try to see if they can pull up dirt on my parenting skills and my success, because she has nothing on me. She has not been to one parent-teacher conference. My daughter is 17 years old. I got custody of her, like full custody of her. We went to court in 2015. I got full custody of her like right away because I went for 50-50, and for about a year so we were able to do 50-50, but then she started wanting to go back to the streets. So inadvertently, after 2015, her running the streets, she was constantly dumping the kids on me. But with 50-50, nobody owed each other child support. And then in 21, I think it was the end of 2020, she was the aggressor, and her domestic violence issue with her new baby daddy with 2 kids. Smashed him in the head with a fucking bomb. Bled from the back of the head. Yeah. Police showed up and everything. They put her on supervised visits with her kids. CPS took her kids, put her on supervised visits. I didn't even know about it until CPS reached out to me because they did an investigation and found out that she had other children. That's how fucked the system is. So they contact me and they're like, yo, Norm, do you know that your ex is not supposed to be around her kids with her ex or your kids either, according to the court order, with CPS? She's on supervised visits. And I'm like, no. I say Victoria just had her tonsils and adenoids taken out last week. This is why the mom didn't show up to the fucking surgery? You're kidding me, right? And they're like, no. So we're on the phone, me and CPS, they're telling me everything, the details, the police report, they're telling me everything. Then as soon as they're telling me this, they're saying, can you, Angela, or fucking saying names. They said she and her ex are coming up here to do a fucking interview. So they, whatever, da da da. And we need you to be on the speakerphone so you can hear what's going on, da 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 da, and this, that, and the third. So I'm like, you're kidding me. I said, you just gave me all this information on how toxic it is. I didn't know anything about it. I said, I would have sent my kids over there if you guys didn't call me. So I was like, you got to give me 30 minutes. I got to moose off. So I literally had to get off the phone, smoke a blunt. As soon as I get off the phone, smoke my blunt to calm down because I had just got from work. As soon as I smoke my blunt, my ex called me and is like, hey, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, CPS, this. I'm like, bitch, I already know. Why the fuck didn't you tell me 2 weeks ago when this happened? You were playing me by omission about Victoria and her going to surgery and saying that you're going to try to make it and all this shit. You had no intentions on making it because you knew that if you would have came, you would have put yourself in jeopardy legally because CPS already told you weren't supposed to be around any of your kids.
Six said, can you get sole custody?
I already do. I have sole custody to this day. So out of that 2020-21, I'm working at that time. I'm done being a paralegal. I'm actually working for the U.S. Department of Defense and the Passport Department through a third-party company here in Phoenix. So I go to this third-party office, and they're contracted with the U.S. Department of Defense for giving out information as far as passport, how people can, it's right before COVID. So people are calling in, how do I get a passport? What do I need to do? How long is it going to be before I get approved? Blah, blah, blah. And so we have to look up their information and, transfer them if we can't answer the question as a tier 1 level passport expert or whatever. Long story short, I'm at my job and I had to go into a room, into like a little pilot room, supply room, and talk through Zoom. And so we're on Zoom talking, and the judge is like, at first he doesn't want to give me anything. And I had to break down everything because he was thinking that I was her new boyfriend that she got into. So because she's fucked so many dudes and gotten into so much fucking drama, he's confusing me, the good guy, the nice guy, whatever you want to call it, with all of her fucking felony fucking boyfriends and other baby daddies. So we had to go through the fucking bullshit. 20 minutes into it, at the end of it, he gives her officially supervised visits. Her supervised visits last for 2 fucking months before she's able to call the courts and call CPS and say, and she finagled back and forth. She says, the incident wasn't against my kids with Norman. The incident was with Don, with my ex or whatever, or with my other dude who is no longer with me. And she lied about that because the dude is sleeping in her house to this day. To this day. During the fight, when she hit him with the bong or whatever, they got into it. They were both high and drunk. And both of her toddler kids, one of them was like, couldn't even sit up, was a newborn baby, was on the floor while they were fighting, stepping over the kids, punching each other, fighting each other, hitting each other with bongs and shit. So when the police showed up, the dude didn't even know, her dude didn't even know he was bleeding. He was wearing a white t-shirt and he was bleeding from the back of the head. And he thought it was sweat because he's a fat guy. So, he looks like Rick Ross. So they were fighting and he thought it was sweat. When the police get there, they have to tell them that he is gushing blood out of the back of his head.
Wow.
Both of them get taken
I don't know how she's allowed any kind of custody, any kind of visitations. Oh my God. It doesn't make sense. Because it's
Arizona and she has a uterus.
And
they'll listen to a Me Too crying wolf than they will to a man who has evidence right in front of him.
You need to write a documentary.
So that's just, so the other channel, as far as the father's rights stuff,
Mm-hmm.
This story is just a drop in the bucket compared to all the stories that are about to come down the pike. I have got a list of fathers that are begging for me to go live on the podcast, but I'm trying to tiptoe because because there's so many emotions that are involved. That channel is not even monetized yet. And if I start going deep like I do now, you know how how I get trolled now, I'm afraid that channel, because I've already tried to start a father's rights channel before and it got shut down. They shut down the channel because of the content and what I was exposing. So I'm worried that they're going to strip my channel again, because when they stripped that other channel, they actually put me on suspension on this channel because the names were the same.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm like,
Oh,
man,
when you had, I think I remember that you were like, wait, that was this channel you said, right?
what do you mean? No,
You
it was
had,
the other channel, the other Father's Rights channel that
oh,
yeah. And so I started posting, I was posting stuff about there was some off the wall stuff. It was about kids being, killed by the mothers and stuff like that that was posted on there. And some
yeah.
of it was bled over from this channel onto that channel. I was like repurposing some of the longer content and making it
Mm-hmm.
shorts for the other channel. And YouTube was not liking it because I was exposing the mothers that were killing the kids. And they were just like, basically
YouTube.
they weren't liking it. So I can't remember what video is that I put on, but I did expose one video, and it was like, that was the nail that put it in the
Oh,
coffin.
no, I was thinking of that case. Never mind. Where the lady jumped through the window and all that, but that wasn't. That was something else. Never mind.
That was in Rome, New York. Yeah, that was a whole different story. Yeah. But with that being said,
Uh,
I'm gonna tap out. I'm gonna tap out on this because we've been here over 2 hours
I didn't even know
doing
we were
this.
here that long. I gotta get lunch and stuff ready. Take my medication, and oh my god, I hate this. I just want this surgery to be over with. But
Well,
we'll talk
I
later
need to hurry up and.
about.
Well, my phone is
Huh.
about to die, so that's why I have to tap out. Plus, I got to check to see if Uber is finally done with this fucking investigation.
All right, yeah, we'll talk later about like episodes and coming on here. I appreciate you letting me. You want to say hi? Okay, say bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, everybody, have a good one. Norman, I'll talk to you later. Y'all subscribe, hit the like button.
You already know. All right, tap in with you guys later. Thanks for tapping in, listening to my long ass rants. I'll check with you guys.